when Talk to DIY comes right back.
A block of modeling clay can give you the extra hand needed when soldering small automotive parts.
Brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Get in the zone. AutoZone. Anything you want, anything you need, anything at all, you can get it in the zone. You want it, and you need it, just ask us and we'll get it.
When it comes to getting the parts, supplies, and advice you need to keep your car running right, there's no better place than AutoZone.
DIY, the Do-It-Yourself Network, is going solar in the first ever Solar Decathlon. 14 college teams compete to build and operate modern homes using only the power of the sun. You'll learn how blue jeans and styrofoam will keep your house warm, or how these stylish water columns will cool things off. Plus, tips for making your home more energy efficient. Find out which bright ideas outshine the others. Solar Decathlon, tomorrow at 6 Eastern on DIY.
Welcome back to Talk to DIY. I'm Steve Ford.
And I'm Lauren Fix, and we're answering some of your electrical questions on today's show.
We're also covering some non-electrical issues, like the project that Jerry from Macedonia, Ohio is undertaking. Here's Jerry's email. How do you take out and replace the straight shaft and the curved shaft steering ball joints on a 1996 Dodge Avenger? I have basic repair knowledge for cars, but am stumped on this.
Jerry, let's show you some of the tools so you're not stumped and we can show you the basics, and I know you can do this. First thing you need are some basic tools, which would be a 3/8 drive set, which would include ratchets and some long and short sockets. You'll need some combination wrenches, which is a box end and the open end. You'll need an adjustable set of pliers. You also need some solvents. Let's go over those. Some penetrating oil or some rust dissolver. Spray that on the nuts and bolts that you're going to be loosening so you know what you're going to be doing in advance, and let them soak in. Leave them a little bit, like maybe an hour. You'll also need some brake clean. Now this is for metal parts, not for rubber parts, because brake clean can dissolve the rubber. It actually expands it, so you want to make sure that you use it on metal components. Now on certain ball joints, not yours, you would use a pickle fork or crowbars or hammers. So at least you've got all this available to you, so you've got your arsenal of tools. Next thing would be safety equipment, a set of work gloves and some safety glasses, especially when you're working underneath the vehicle. So you're going to want to jack that vehicle up, put some jack stands underneath, and take the wheel off. Now, just so you can see it, we've removed the brakes just to make life a little easier for you. And let's take a look at what your question was. You asked about the curved shaft. Well, on your vehicle, you're right. The tie rod is the curved shaft. On most vehicles, it is not. In this case, this is the tie rod. I'm going to show you how to check it, too. This is the tie rod right here. And this tie rod is something that is curved on your vehicle. Now, how do you check that tie rod to see if it's failing? Again, you'll need your adjustable wrench, and you're going to put the top of it on the top of it and this piece on the bottom. However, there is movement side to side. That's normal and expected. It's the up and down movement. We want to see if that bushing, that rubber bushing, is failing. So we'll put this right here, and we're going to squeeze it. And if you squeeze that bushing and you see that it's failing, it would actually have movement to it. Not movement side to side, but up and down. In this case, the rubber doesn't move. This bushing is fine. This tie rod is fine. Now let's look at the ball joint. This is what the other part of your question. Ball joints are a little bit different. In this case, the ball joint is located underneath, on this point, it's on the lower control arm. It attaches to the spindle. Now, how do you remove that? You would remove it by first going to your sway bar. Now, your sway bar is this piece right here. It attaches at each lower control arm. It has to do with the handling of the vehicle. And you want to make sure that if you do take the nut or bolt off the top, depending upon the style, that you do not disassemble the bushings unless you mark how they go back together, because it's critical on your handling. The next thing you're going to want to do is loosen this bolt right here. This bolt is the bolt that holds the ball joint on at the spindle. You'll loosen that bolt, and then when you do, this has obviously been loosened for TV, but what we're going to do is we're going to put some weight on it, and we've pulled the ball joint out. Now you can see the rubber has failed. And this is the type of thing when you drive along the side of the road and see a car on the side of the road with the wheel kicked all the way out. That's because of a ball joint failure, or a tie rod failure. So you don't want that to be the case. So this bushing is all ripped and it needs to be replaced. So what you will do is you will disconnect these two bolts right here, the one right here and the one right here, and then the ball joint will be removed. Now there are other types of ball joints you need to be aware of. On certain vehicles, there's a press-in type ball joint that you would require a press. You may not have a press, you would have to take that to a certified technician. In your case, Jerry, it bolts in. It has, just like we were showing you, different styles, different types. When you go to your parts store, you can ask them and they'll tell you what will be correct for your vehicle. So that'll help you get your ball joint problem solved, and hopefully you won't have to change the tie rods. But you are right, that is a curved shaft, and we do appreciate your question. Now, when we come right back, we'll be talking about shedding some light on an ignition system, and we'll be having a lot more questions. Stay right with us when Talk to DIY returns.
I've been a hog farmer all my life, but I ain't never seen anything like these Fram AIRHOGs. Yeah! Crazy critters, scaring the chickens, and the missus too, to be honest. Mind you, folks can't wait to get their hands on them.
The Fram AIRHOG High Performance Air Filter, designed to allow more airflow for increased acceleration and horsepower. They breathe in, you peel out. Fram AIRHOG, hog the road.
You can make your cuts with laser precision. You can have the right tool for about 1,000 jobs. Because the Home Depot has more new and innovative products than you'll find anywhere else. Like Veranda, a revolutionary composite material for decks and fences that looks and feels like wood. But Veranda will never warp, twist, rot, or splinter the way wood can. It's beautiful, versatile, and you'll find it only at the Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Only Oust air sanitizer kills odor-causing bacteria in the air.
I mostly sprayed Lysol in the air. I thought Lysol was an air sanitizer.
It's true, Lysol works on surfaces, but it's not meant for the air. Only Oust air sanitizer kills 99.9% of odor-causing bacteria in the air.
My daughter Carly is like a tomboy, and her clothes are stinky and gross. Little spray right away. It smells great, just fresh.
Get odor-causing bacteria out with Oust air sanitizer. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Oust gets rid of the odors, doesn't mask the odors. I don't like bathroom odors of any sort.
Now there's a new Oust air sanitizer made just for the bathroom.
One finger, 2 times.
Kills airborne odor-causing bacteria quick and easy.
It's a no-brainer. This is awesome.
New Oust bathroom air sanitizer.
Close shave.
Barbasol.
Better buy Barbasol, Mom.
With 7 great flavors, better buy Barbasol.
Spark? You want to know where the spark went? I used to think sex life. That's gonna fit somewhere in between kids, work, cleaning, stress. Even if I was in the mood, I was just too tired. Well, that was before I heard about Aflamil.
The ingredients in Aflamil have been shown to enhance libido and promote a healthier, more energetic love life.
I tried it. I had passion. Who would have thought? Passion.
Now you can receive a free 30-day sample cycle. Just call or go online today.
I'd heard about Aflamil, that it was safe and natural.
Introducing Aflamil, the non-prescription once-daily supplement made just for women.
So I tried it. That's when I started feeling intimate again.
The ingredients in Aflamil have been shown to enhance libido and help maintain hormonal balance.
I had desire, energy. I had passion.
This is how I really am. I'm back to being me.
Now you can receive a free 30-day sample cycle. Just call or go online today.
Do you know your home IQ? Find out when DIY follows one family for a year through the trials and tribulations of building a custom home. The good.
This is great. I'm home.
The bad.
Hey, I got an issue out here on your house.
And everything in between. Learn what to do, where to start, and see a dream home take shape right before your eyes.
It's ours.
Home IQ. Tonight at 8:30 on DIY. Online at DIYnetwork.com.
Making it all look so easy, our pit crew helping us out over there. This is Talk to DIY. It's your one-stop source for all kinds of automotive advice and do-it-yourself projects.
That's true, and we're jumping right back into your questions. Eddie from Farmerville, Louisiana is on the phone. Hi, Eddie. What's going on with your car?
My stepdaughter has a 90 model Cutlass Calais, and some days it will crank up and run just fine. While it's running, it runs great. The next day you may go out and it will not start. 3 days later, it may crank again and run just fine. I was wondering if you had any ideas what may be wrong with it.
Eddie, I'm looking around thinking about a battery, first of all, because if you've got a cranking concern, it might be that you have a connection concern, either the ground side of the battery or the battery itself. In fact, Josh or Matt, if I could get a battery, I'd love to just remind Eddie. Eddie, have you checked that? Is this about engine cranking? When you turn the key, does the engine actually crank and not start, or does it not crank at all?
It does not crank. I have checked the battery. The battery is fine. I've checked the coil.
Okay.
The coil is fine.
All right, let me just clarify for you, Eddie. The coil is not going to affect the thank you, Josh. The coil will not affect whether the battery cranks or not, or I should say whether the starter cranks or not. Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You need power from the battery to the starter. In fact, let me just grab a starter here and let's talk about this. In order for the vehicle to crank, to clarify, when you say crank, you mean actually turning over, the engine actually turning over. That's the start that you have from the battery. You need power to the starter. Now, if I hear you right, I just want to clarify, it's not even turning over for you.
No, I'm sorry. It is turning over.
Okay.
It acts like it is not getting fire, but it is getting fire to the spark plugs.
Okay, so you do have cranking. Your concern is it cranks over, but it doesn't fire up and run.
Right, it will not run.
Okay, so we know the starter and battery are good. Let's move over to the ignition system. You've checked for spark?
Yes, I have.
And you do not have spark?
When the car will crank, it is sparking. When it does not, it is not sparking.
Okay, when it does have spark, it will start?
Yes.
And then sometimes it doesn't have spark?
That's correct.
Then we're isolating it down to the ignition system. It sounds like what I'm hearing is that sometimes it will crank and not have spark, and maybe you're concerned about the ignition system, and that's why you replaced the coil. Am I on track?
That's correct.
All right, now we're down to the coil. Now, your vehicle does not have the old distributor like the old days where they had the mechanical distributor. We've eliminated that. Now it's computer controlled. It's called a direct ignition system, and you know that because you've been in to replace the coil.
Right.
Okay. Well, if you've replaced the coil and you're still not having fire, did you check to be sure you had electricity power coming to the coil? Did you check with a test light or a digital multimeter?
Yes, dear.
Okay, you got power coming to the coil, then it may be that the module is the malfunction. Underneath the coils, you've got a module that is in effect the igniter that's controlling what used to be the contact points in the old distributor. It's electronically controlled. Here's a tip for you. Eddie, possibly, are you familiar with a crankshaft position sensor?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, in order for this computerized ignition system to work, there's a crankshaft position sensor that's on your block of your engine. It's not at the back. It's not at the bell housing like it is on a lot of vehicles. It's actually a magnetic pickup that sends an alternating current signal to this module. And this module needs that signal to work properly. The crankshaft position sensor sometimes does wear out and malfunction. And I'm starting to think what you might have going wrong, Eddie, in reality, you may have done all the right things so far that you think would solve the dilemma, but what you've got is possibly a crankshaft position sensor that's faulty. So you can go to an auto parts store and check with them about that part if you think that's the malfunction. To check it, get a service manual out. Again, it'll point you to the crankshaft position sensor located about halfway down the block, not at the bell housing like a lot of vehicles. So that's what I would suggest, Eddie. Thanks for your question. I hope that helps you out.
You know, Steve, I'm sure you agree, we used to think distributors were complicated. Now we realize how simple they are. Well, don't forget, if you have a question, our phone number is easy to remember. It's 866-TALK-TO-DIY. It's a free call, and you can leave a message anytime. When we come back, we'll talk about big tires and blowing fuses. Talk to DIY will be right back.
Transmission in 1940, you know, it's been going down